Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, to another episode of the High Tempo Fast Break. Today, we are here to do our first NBA mock draft. We're doing just the lottery today. You're probably wondering, where's the weekly episode? Well, we just didn't want to do one until the conference finals are over, because I low-key thought they were going to be over the other night. They're not. We're recording this right now, if you're wondering, on Thursday night, right before, actually. Game 5 has started now, actually, of Heat Celtics. We probably should have turned that on, but whatever.
It's hard.
Yeah, Heat Celtics Game 5 is happening right now, so we don't know what's happened yet, but we're going to record a podcast predicting the finals after that. We have till next Thursday, so it's Memorial Weekend this weekend. We probably won't do it this weekend, but
yeah, we'll be on lakes and stuff and doing
exactly
things.
Stuff. It's typical stuff.
Yeah,
so.
we really did expect this podcast to be like the NBA finals. It might not have been the preview, maybe like the conference finals overview.
Yeah.
And we were in triple threat, had to make a decision last play of the game, and we had to pivot to a different thing. And we chose the
something
lottery.
that we've been wanting to do. We're going to do a second mock draft, obviously, a full first round mock draft right before the NBA draft, maybe a couple days before. But this is just our lottery one that we're doing. We obviously, about a week ago or so, it might have been longer, I don't even remember, we were upset about the Pistons not getting Victor Wembanyama. Not only did they not get him, but they fell to pick 5. But now this is when the options I was talking about get to come into play. You know, there's a lot of options here on the book. I would argue that me and Easton probably aren't going to have the same guy that the Pistons are taking here at pick 5. There's probably about, realistically, like 5 different dudes that the Pistons could take
easily
at pick 5. So it's which one of them are we going to have? Like, which ones are the Pistons going to take? We don't know. It depends on what Houston does at 4 as well. But
I think we have the mold of the player we're going to have, though.
Yeah.
I think there's a clear mold that we need.
Defender, shooter.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what we need, in all honesty.
It definitely is. But it just depends on how the boards fall and what we think that is best for the value of the player there. So
I also saw that we could trade the pick. I saw today, I don't know who it was on the podcast, but they were mentioning that it got released that the 5th pick might be on the move for DeAndre Ayton at some point. Like, that's being explored.
No.
I hate that.
That's terrible.
That's the worst idea I've ever heard.
Even if we needed a center, that is terrible.
I read it and I went, we have 6 centers on the roster.
Yeah.
We have 10 that need to get minutes.
I would rather
next year.
go get a guy that's not even as good as Ayton that just plays a different position.
Yeah, I can't think of an example, but I know what you mean.
I was saying OG's better. OG's better. Yeah.
OG's better than
I don't even know.
I can't think of a guy.
But yeah, this is just going to be our 1 through 14. No trades either. There obviously is going to be trades in the draft, and I think when we do our second mock draft, we can include trades for sure. Like with the Pistons trading with the 5th pick, you never know. James Edwards III did an article the other day where he mocked trades to the other athletic writers of the other teams, trading the 5th pick, and there were some interesting ones in there.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet article.
The big fish was the Pascal Siakam trade, which that'd be cool, if the Pistons want to make that move. And then there was some smaller ones going and get like Herb Jones and moving down to pick 14 in the draft, things like that. RJ Barrett was one as well.
I did
5.
see that one. And
I don't know how I feel about that, because I when I first see it, I'm like, RJ Barrett, really? Is he really the answer? But then you also got to think about it in this perspective. Is the player you draft at pick 5 going to be better player than RJ Barrett?
And have higher upside?
RJ Barrett is a max contract player at this right now. Now, whether he's deserving of that or not, he at the time of the contract signing, clearly he was worthy of it because he gets signed to that. So, will you draft a guy that's as good as him? You'd hope.
You hope to get a guy as good as RJ Barrett.
But
right?
I don't know if you would hope. You'd
be happy if you got a guy.
But it's not a guarantee though.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe if you want to do that, I think the Pistons probably don't trade the pick, honestly.
Would you be happy if at the 5th overall pick we got somebody who's as good at RJ Barrett? Would you be happy with that draft pick?
You can't be mad. It's better than a bust. I think I'd be happy. Yes.
I think I'd be too.
I'm not expecting. Yeah, no, I would. I would be happy. I'm not expecting a star.
If I get a role player, a guy that can fit into my system and maybe be a starter like RJ Barrett probably would, I'm happy with that.
I think that this is going, and RJ Barrett's more than the role player. He's not. He's
a starter.
And I think what we're not drafting for a star here at pick 5. This is like the missing piece, to the team. What guy can complement our stars, that we've drafted. And I think Jaden Ivey is a star. I think obviously Cade is a star. And I think Jalen Duren can be a star.
Yeah, this guy could be a star in his role. For sure. Like a Desmond Bain is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like somebody who just comes in, like he compliments Josh so well, knocks down hella shots. That's what I'm thinking of. Like he would be like ideal if we got a player at that level.
A guy, that'd be awesome for sure. Quickly before, obviously, like I said, the NBA Finals is almost here. The Denver Nuggets are in the finals, and then we're choosing between Celtics Heat. I don't want to talk about this too much because obviously, like by the time they're listening to this, the Heat could have just won the series. Do you think Boston could low-key come back from 3-0? Like, I don't want to overreact to one game. But, like, it's back at home right now. Like, you think they could?
I think low-key, like, they could. To me, I love the game at a time mentality. And all of a sudden, it just doesn't sound as hard. All we got to do is win Game 4 in Miami. And then we get to go back to Boston. If we win that, then we've won 2 straight. Then we have to go back to Miami where we beat them last time and beat them again. And now we're on a 3 straight win streak. But at the same time, like if it was that easy, somebody probably would have done it. It's happened a couple times in other sports. NHL is like known for them. MLB, it happened with Boston. But no, I don't realistically think they can. But it sounds so easy when you put it on paper.
Boston's up 28-13 right now with 3 minutes left in the first. They got quite the lead
it's happening.
I don't think it's gonna happen. So the craziest part is I was gonna bet on it, right? Like, because I have a bet on the Heat to beat the Celtics I made before the series even started, and it's looking great. But then I was thinking, like, why not just throw like a couple bucks on Boston to make this 3-0 comeback, right? And I forgot to, so I was like, after the Game 4, I was like, let me go to Game 5 or before Game 5 and see what Boston's odds are to win the series. Plus 210 to win the series. What is, the books think Boston can do it. The ESPN BPI index thing had Boston still favored to win the series when they're down 3-0. Like, they think Boston can do it. I'm not saying that I agree with them, but if there ever was a time for a 3-0 team to make a comeback, it would be against an 8 seed that is up 3-0 in the conference finals when Boston is the clear better team. Right now they're not the better team, but just on paper they're the better roster than the Heat are. I still think the Heat are going to win, though.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's almost like the books are weighing, they just don't want people to blow that up, because they know that.
I bet everybody's probably thinking the same thing.
Everybody's thinking the same thing. You're totally right, and it is super unrealistic. However, the fact that it's never happened.
Yeah. We will see it though. I would actually guarantee. I would put money on it that in the next 10 years, a 3-0 lead gets blown in the NBA. I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so.
Maybe even the next 5 years.
I think the talent is good enough. I think here's a crazy little tangent that I'm going to go on.
Okay.
I think basketball eventually might be closer to baseball eventually as we continue to get better at the sport, where you're going to see shooters have hot streaks. And those hot streaks are going to determine whether that team's winning games. The same way a hitter gets on a hitting streak.
I mean, it kind of is like that right now.
I think guys are that good now where it's all going to be percentage based in a little bit.
I mean, you look at this game with the Boston Celtics. I mean, they've just in games 1, 2, and 3, the Heat outshot the Celtics. Mm-hmm. In Game 4, the Celtics had their first good shooting game of the series, and the Heat had their first non-good shooting game of the series, and the Celtics won big. It's all about shooting. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of already how it is.
Yeah, you're right.
There's one more. Oh yeah, and obviously the Nuggets have made the finals. Before we get into this, this is something we obviously do our best players list and everything at the end of the year. Is Jokic the best player in the NBA right now over Giannis?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I mean you don't lose in the first round and be better right now than the guy in the finals who's dominated, averaging a 30-point triple-double. I would prefer to spend more time in the Lakers than talk about the Nuggets, though. I don't think they deserve the air.
The Lakers, after getting swept, definitely deserve to be talked about. I mean, LeBron might retire.
I think we should only talk about the Lakers. I feel like the Nuggets are what do the Nuggets have to talk? What do we have to talk about?
What did they even do?
The Lakers
who
got
cares
beat.
About Denver. LeBron. I think this LeBron retiring thing. I see that a lot of people think it's just a ploy for the Lakers to really buy in for this last year. I've seen the thing that people think he might be being serious and he's going to take this year off and then come back and have his farewell tour with Bronny to just sign wherever he is. I think that there's either way, whatever way he does it, LeBron has not played his last game in the NBA.
Absolutely not.
No.
If you think LeBron is going down without a farewell tour, You are crazy,
out of all
dude.
people, and well, I'm a LeBron guy.
I'm wearing the shirt.
LeBron screams like, "Look at me! It's my last year farewell tour, guy."
I would love to be praised, is what he's thinking. Listen, I've got LeBron
Which he
4
deserves to
times
be.
on my shirt. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the people who like are being like, "Oh, he doesn't deserve it." You're horse shit. That is absolute horse shit. I can't wait. But you're right. We did not see LeBron's final game yet. There is more basketball to be played for LeBron.
All right, let's get. Oh wait, no, one more thing. Lions news, quick. Me and talked about this before. Riley Patterson back on the Lions, back to be kicking. Sorry, Michael Badgley, you had a good run here with us with the Lions. Appreciate you, but Riley Patterson's back in town. He was one of the few bright spots of our. How many games went? 3 14-1, I believe. 3 13-1.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was one of the few bright spots there. He was pretty good. I think he went like 13 or 14 in his time with us. And then also Thanksgiving weekend, that whole span is going to be the craziest sporting time ever.
What's
no
happening?
time for family. It's sports.
No time for family.
Lions Packers obviously on Thanksgiving. And then there's other games obviously too. But just for Michigan and Michigan local people. And then that night, Michigan State plays Arizona on Fox. Actually, not that night. It's that day, actually, right after the Lions game. They play Arizona in basketball, which will be a super fun game, obviously. I think they're playing in California. And then Friday is the Michigan national or state championship games, the start of them at Ford Field.
Yeah.
Potentially Beale City there. That'd be cool if they were. And Ford Field is going out of their way and adding more work to the load. MSU Penn State to end the college football season is at Ford Field that night, 7:30 at night on Black Friday.
Those poor Ford Field workers who have to get that shit done.
4 high school games and then that game.
8 high school. No. Yeah, 8 high school games.
4 on Friday.
On that day, yeah. That is insane. You have a full day's worth of work for you.
Exactly.
Oh, that weekend's going to be awesome.
And then Saturday is Michigan versus Ohio State. So
holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
You're right. No time for family.
No.
You're gonna have to tell your family, hey, I'm gonna be incognito. I'm gonna be glued
And then
to my
Sunday's
phone.
fantasy football. So
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing going on that weekend other than football and basketball. All right. It's time to get into the end. How far are we in?
We should cancel Thanksgiving that weekend.
He's still thinking about it.
Just for that weekend. Cancel Thanksgiving. We don't need it. We got sports.
Yeah.
We'll spend enough time with our family. We're like 10 minutes in.
Okay. All right. The first overall pick belongs to the San Antonio Spurs. Who are they picking?
Easily, they're taking the sharpshooter. He's nasty. He's a killer. They're taking Brandon Miller. Just kidding. They're taking Victor Wembanyama.
That was a little far, don't you think? Yeah, Victor Wembanyama first overall.
I mean, I think we've talked about it for it feels like years now, which is funny because there was a time where we weren't talking about Victor Wembanyama and we were talking about Imani Bates, who was fallen.
That is a great point.
There was a time where he was the number 1 player in this class he was the next Kevin Durant, and we are now thinking, will he go in the first round?
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, he had a great
A couple
combine.
months ago, it was a will he get drafted?
It's insane.
And
the
he
way
will
his
get
path-
drafted just based off hype, potential. And he did, like you said, he had a good combine as well.
Awful.
But yeah, Victor Wembanyama, though, is first overall pick. Generational talent. Not much else to say.
Yeah, if he's not Kareem, he's a bust. I
Sure.
think.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's a joke. I hate the amount of pressure we put on these guys to become the greatest ever. There have been 3 people in the history of the world to be considered one of the greatest ever, and it is Kareem, MJ, and LeBron. And to expect that from a 19-year-old 7'5", 7'6" guy is crazy.
Obviously,
I
he
hate
has
that.
the potential, but
To expect it is crazy.
to expect even him winning an MVP is not written in stone. He's gonna be an all-star. All-star. If he's not an all-star, that's when you can say bust just because of the hype.
Mm-hmm.
But if he wins an MVP, even if he doesn't win an MVP, it doesn't mean he's not a bust. He's going to be a really good player
For
either
sure.
way.
For sure.
And that's all you're getting here. No one else in the draft is ever this guy's going to be a really good NBA player. No matter what. No one's like that.
Nobody.
Victor
Rarely.
is. I think
Yes.
Victor is going to be. Obviously, injuries might play a role, but you can't predict that.
How many first overall picks in the last since 2000 have won MVP?
Have one MVP?
Yeah.
LeBron. Derrick Rose.
That's it.
That's it?
That's the list.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Cade will be there soon.
Cade will be there. But, like, that's what you're saying with the whole, like, to expect him even to be the MVP. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
I mean, even like a guy like Zion Williamson 4 years ago was supposed to come in and change the way the game was looked at. The dude doesn't get on the floor.
Yeah, like he has been
he's hurt.
great.
Yeah,
though.
he has been. You're right. He totally has been
Yeah.
great. But he's been hurt, and that could very well be what happens to Victor. I hate to say it.
It's unfortunate. But
Unfortunate.
Yeah, you never know.
History.
All right, second overall pick. This is where things start to get a little bit interesting. The Charlotte Hornets on the clock here. Michael Jordan said if he would have got the first pick, he might have considered not selling the Charlotte Hornets, but he still probably is. What do you got here?
Glad to know the Hornets finally have a chance. Just kidding. Kind of. I have the Hornets. There is talk of like something different happening here because originally like Scoot was locked at 2.
Yeah.
And there's talk that Brandon Miller could jump. I still have the Hornets going to Scoot Henderson. I think he'd be a great off-ball guard. Even if you moved Melo to the 2 and you run a 2-point guard system,
matter, yeah.
it can work. You can make it work out. I think he'd really be really complimentary to LaMelo Ball and what the Hornets are trying to do.
Yeah, I think Scoot Henderson's got to go second. I know that a lot of Hornets fans and just people in general, like, obviously from a fit standpoint, Brandon Miller probably fits what the Hornets need more. But maybe even not, but like, you know, it just makes sense, I guess, because you have LaMelo Ball, who's a ball-dominant guy, Scoot Henderson, who is most likely going to be a ball-dominant guy, maybe not right away. But just think of the potential of a backcourt with these two together.
Yep.
You know, we live in a world today where it doesn't matter. You know, like we saw the Chris Paul, James Harden thing. It did succeed. A lot of people said it didn't succeed, or it wouldn't succeed. It did. They were one game away from the NBA Finals. Not these aren't like guys that have succeeded yet, but like Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell in 1 year they both had very good years. Donovan Mitchell, first team All NBA, and he'd never played with a guard like Darius Garland. I think this could be a situation similar to that. Scoot Henderson kind of brings a different aspect than LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is a finesse, flashy point guard that shoots a lot of threes, and finds his teammates. Scoot Henderson kind of brings that slashing, athletic, pull up mid range. He can shoot the three as well, not as high of a clip as LaMelo, obviously, but he was a better prospect coming out than LaMelo Ball was. You know, so to pass up on the opportunity to have a one of the best backcourts in the NBA in the next 3 or 4 years or something. I mean, that is something you can't pass up. I know it doesn't make sense from a positional standpoint, but
that's like the logical way of looking at basketball, and it's almost like the easy way out. Yeah, would it be easier to probably build a team around Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball? Like, I think so. But could you build a better team if you do it the right way with Scoot and LaMelo? I absolutely think so. Granted, Brandon Miller could just be better than Scoot Henderson.
Yeah.
But like if this actually works out the way we think, basketball doesn't have to be thought that logically. You can mix things up. You can have these two dominant guards because then who's going to guard these guys? I mean, there's so many situations where this could work or it could go down in flames. But I think they'll make it work
with the ball like handling thing. You know, like who has the ball?
That is a horseshit thing. I used to be a believer in that. It's horseshit.
You say horseshit a lot.
I do. I definitely do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that, like, guys touch the ball. It's not like one guy has it the whole time. The Hornets last year, yeah, LaMelo Ball had it quite a bit, you know, but like they also have Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is a ball dominant guard. He's not much of a passer like Scoot's going to be, but he's a scorer. You could see Terry Rozier most likely getting moved after if they select Scoot. But also you have the second pick in the NBA draft. You're a bad basketball team. You can't just say, "Oh, we need to pick the guy that makes more sense."
Yeah.
Because we don't need another guard. No, you weren't good.
Yeah.
Now the Pistons, if they would have landed in this spot, it's a little bit different because you have two guards already. I still think they probably still take Scoot though, just because of the you can't pass up on a guy like that.
You got to figure it out.
Exactly.
That's your job as
and
a
also,
coach.
from everything, it's sounding like Miles Bridges. Most likely, it seems like he will be a member of the Hornets again next year. So it's not like you have a hole necessarily at that wing spot. Obviously, you could always use more guys, but
what about Gordon Hayward? What's going to happen with him? Is he going to stay in Charlotte?
I think he's still under contract. I think he's got 1 year left on that big giant deal that they signed him to. I'm pretty sure.
I doubt nobody's trading for that. He'll probably just be a free agent after next year.
He'll probably just wash out, unfortunately. Okay, pick 3, the Portland Trailblazers on the clock here. This is another pick that could be on the move. This is the first one, I guess, that like really could be on the move here if the Blazers want to keep getting these guys for Dame, Or do they want to just build throughout this young core they have with Simons, Shaden Sharp, and now the third pick?
I'm a believer that you go the latter of the routes you mentioned. I'm a believer you keep this pick and you draft Brandon Miller. I think Simons, Shaden Sharp, and Brandon Miller, I think, can really work moving forward. I really like it. Dame's not going anywhere. You're going to probably, I mean, who knows? By the time Dame's like 42, you might have a good team now. But I don't think you trade this pick because of Dame. I don't know if there's nothing you can do for this pick to put you in that spot to be a championship contender. So to me, it's get young assets, build depth, continue to play basketball. And that's where I think you draft Brandon Miller, the athletic shooting wing who looks like just the prototypical perfect NBA wing, other than his wingspan's a little small.
Yeah, but he's freaking tall.
He's
so
huge.
He's 6'9", so that helps. Yeah, I got Brandon Miller going here as well. I do see a world potentially where like a draft, as we continue to go through the process, where like Brandon Miller like actually doesn't go in this top 3, where it's like, it's locked. These guys are going top 3. I think there's a scenario where like Portland likes a different guy better, like a Jarris Walker or a Taylor Hendricks type guy to fit their team. I don't think they actually would, or maybe either the Thompson twins. But I don't think it, like, as of right now, I also have Brandon Miller going here. Just an elite scoring wing. He shot the ball an insanely high clip this year at Alabama. He torched MSU in that game. It was it was fun to watch because it was like, this guy could be on the Pistons, but watching him kill my team was like, oh my God.
He's so sweet.
He didn't have the greatest tournament, but Alabama in general didn't. But like you said, he has potential to be a really good two-way wing. I've been seeing a lot of Paul George comps. The one I liked a little more, I like the Michael Porter Jr. comp to him. I think that is a really good one, a type of player like that who's just willing to take any shot. If you get him in the right scenario with a playmaker around him, which Portland doesn't necessarily have at the moment, but a guy that's just willing to take any shot, can shoot them at a high clip, and play solid defense and can rebound the basketball. And that's what Brandon Miller does. A guy that I would love to fall to 5 to the Pistons because he fits the Pistons probably the best out of anybody in this class. But he's number 3.
So what is the package of number 3, Shaden Sharp and Jeremy Grant? Does that go and get you?
Jeremy Grant can't be because he's a free agent.
Gotcha.
But I've heard that they might trade Simons though, like Simons and for the contract.
Like that doesn't give you Jaylen Brown,
number
does it?
3. No, but they have one of the better Jaylen Brown packages.
That's what I thought.
But I think it's a Dame though. Like I don't think the Celtics are trading Jaylen Brown to get a player that's worse than Jaylen Brown.
But it's just so
but also,
hard.
Who else is out there that's going to be traded?
We've seen this so often.
Be traded that's better than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, like with the Kevin Durant thing, they're like, we need players equal.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Who else is like literally like other than Dame? Dame's not out there actually. Like they're not trading Dame.
No, they're not.
There is no one better than Jaylen Brown that is like on the trademark. I mean, Embiid maybe. Not saying he's gonna get traded, but like there is a.
I mean, then there's like the Trae Young talks.
Yeah, there is the Trae Young talks, but like,
is he better than Jaylen Brown?
I don't know. That'd be an interesting trade.
That'd be pretty fun. Like Trae Young and Tatum.
That'd be a really good trade for Atlanta, though.
Oh,
then
yeah.
you let DeJounte go back to being the full-time one.
And you don't have to worry about the defense anymore. Like, you got great defenders all over,
but
shooters.
also, yeah, maybe the Celtics are willing to take a different route and take Anthony Simons in the 3rd pick and...
You still need more.
I don't know.
Maybe
you make it a 3-teamer and somehow turn this 3rd pick to Toronto to get Siakam and Simons. I don't really know. Like the money's got to, it's complicated.
They just need players. Yeah. It's going to be really hard to get players back.
If the Celtics just come back down 3-1, then we'll have to worry about this.
Who cares?
35-20 right now at the end of the first quarter. Or no, it's not the end of the first quarter, but okay, no, it's 47-32. It just refreshed. Celtics are up 15. Not looking good for them. Okay, the 4th pick, the Houston Rockets. This is where things start to kind of, you don't predict them as easier here. Houston Rockets at 4.
Again, that's another team that can go any direction they want. They can go wing. They can go... I mean, I probably wouldn't go big, but they could go big, and there isn't really a big on the board. Or they can go guard. I think you go with the massive guard from Overtime Elite. I think you go with Amin Thompson, the point guard of the Twins, much better passer, athletic, gets downhill. I think he'd be really complimentary next to Jalen Green. I think he really can slide in and kind of just take Kevin Porter Jr.'s role. I don't think he's part of the future. He just don't play the right way. You need guys who are going to be more willing passers, take less bad shots. I think Amin Thompson can be a game changer at 6'7" at point guard next to an undersized 2 guard in Jalen Green. I think it really could work. He's great at getting downhill and getting to the hole. I'm excited to see how he works out because I've mentioned over a long time I'm not sold on these overtime elite guys. So
Right.
the Twins are going to be kind of my first taste of whether or not I believe in it. So I'm really excited to see them.
Yeah, and I think I actually also have Eamon Thompson going here to the Houston Rockets. I think that I don't see why you can't play him, Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green together. You know,
He's a big guard.
He's 6'7", and like you said, it's gonna be. I would be surprised if he doesn't go over Asor in the draft, just because he is. They're the same player, except he's just a little bit more of a playmaker than he is. A little bit
clearly
more,
was the point guard.
Had
of
the
Twins.
ball hand. It was much more of the ball handler of the two. They're both freaky athletic. They both can't really shoot the ball insanely well. The fundamentals don't look phenomenal. The mid range pull up looks fine with both of them, I would say. But they're freaky athletic though. Like probably the most athletic dudes in the draft, both of them. But yeah, I saw something that I follow a lot of Rockets Twitter people on Twitter for some reason. I just do. They're pretty cool guys. But I saw that Ime Udoka, when he did his press conference, like immediately brought up how Kevin Porter Jr. needs to be used differently. Kevin Porter Jr. shot the ball like over 40% on catch and shoot threes this year, but shot a very low volume of catch and shoot threes. So he needs to be in more of a less playmaking opportunity, even though he is a pretty good playmaker, I would say, for not being a traditional point guard. So I don't see why you can't incorporate, Amen Thompson into the lineup with these other guys. Because I think you said it best. He fits with Jalen Green great. A scoring guard that can shoot the ball, take it inside, do it all. I think he's perfect fit for him.
Yeah, and I guess KPJ's not short by any means.
No,
right?
he's like 6'5", I think.
Yeah, I guess totally.
6'5"
He's not
or
short
6",
at all.
I think. Jalen Green's about the same size as him too, so
Here's a question, and you can call me stupid. Are Michael Porter Jr. and Kevin Porter Jr. not related?
neither is Otto Porter Jr.
Oh, I didn't even think about him.
They just all happen to be Porters with dads that had the same name as them.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
definitely not.
duh. That was you can't have two Porter Juniors with different first names
Right.
from the
I don't know
same
if you know,
dad.
like they were cousins or something. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
that doesn't make. Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought they were. I said brothers.
Definitely was.
It's impossible.
Yeah, it literally can't be. Yeah. What was I? Oh, I've been hearing like the slight rumblings about Case and Wallace potentially in talks here at pick 4 with Houston if they really want to get that like point guard. If they aren't sold on the Thompson twins, don't know if it's gonna happen. But that's just been a rumbling I've saw.
You got to go with the Thompson twins.
Probably.
I would much rather
We're
take
early
the
in the
upside.
process though. Things are gonna change by the time draft comes around.
And the shooting thing is what really needs to get figured out. Like,
Yeah.
if they go into a draft workout with a team and one of them shoots the shit out of the ball, they are going to get drafted by that team. You just have to. If they can knock down the shot, that's their only question that they have. Other than that, they seem to have all the tools.
Yeah. Pick 5. This is the big one. The Detroit Pistons on the clock here. Like we said, there could be a trade that goes down, but the Pistons have a guy, like not a guy, but a type of guy that clearly we need on this team, and that is a defending big wing that we don't have. Sadiq Bey was our attempt at that, but if we're keeping it real, Sadiq Bey was much more of an offensive player than a defensive player, which is not saying we don't need offense,
Yep.
but so pick 5 here. What do you got the Pistons doing?
You described my player to a T, the guy that fits the mold. He plays defense. He's a big wing. Funny enough, he went to the same school as Sadiq Bey. I'm taking Cam Whitmore at number 5 for the Pistons. I just think he would fit really well. He can shoot the ball a little bit better than Taylor Hendricks and Jarris Walker, and that's where I want him. I want him to be able to catch and shoot the rock after drives to the hole from Jaden Ivey, or when the defense collapse on Cade Cunningham because he gets to his pull up. The defense collapse. I need somebody out there that can shoot the ball,
right?
And that's where Cam Whitmore I think would really, really be successful. I didn't even think of like the correlation between him and Sadiq both being Villanova wings.
And I've seen people just compare him to Sadiq Bey. They're different players. I mean, they have somewhat of a similar build, but Whitmore is a bigger weight guy. He's definitely much more athletic than Sadiq Bey, but Sadiq Bey is probably a better catch and shoot shooter, at least coming out of college. But Whitmore's more all around scorer.
Sadiq really did. You know what's unfortunate? Sadiq showed like defensive chops at the start of his career.
Yeah.
Like we thought he was gonna be like the 3-and-D guy.
Definitely.
And then
it was like he just wasn't really like quick enough to play on the perimeter.
Yeah, he became
which he
the
still
3
could
guy.
be. You never know. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Cam Whitmore when I have him, but I don't have him at pick 5 here. This is the first one we have different. I debated between 2 guys here at pick 5, and one of them actually wasn't Cam Whitmore. And it was between Jarris Walker And the guy I have going 5th here, and that's Taylor Hendricks out of UCF to the Pistons. This definitely is going to be higher than most have Taylor Hendricks going in most mock drafts. He's kind of in that like 7 to 12 range right now. But I just think Taylor Hendricks fits what the Pistons need most. And we can just get, like we said, we're not shooting for the stars here to get the superstar. We're getting the missing piece to our young core. And I think Taylor Hendricks can be that. He is a slept-on prospect because he went to UCF and they weren't like the crazy team or anything by any means this year. But he's big. He's 6'9". He's 210 pounds, so he's definitely got some lean to him. He's very athletic.
Freaky.
Yeah. And then shot the 3 ball pretty solidly this year. Like definitely wasn't a unreal shooter, but catch and shoot was pretty good. But just a very versatile defender. Can play the 4, can play small ball 5 defensively if you need him to, but he's quick on the perimeter, which I like. The only thing about him is he didn't show much shot creation ability or playmaking ability on the perimeter, which, you know, if that doesn't develop, then he just becomes a 3-and-D guy at the worst, which, sure, I mean, obviously you aim for more than that with the 5th overall pick, but if you can develop him to be a little bit more of a shot creator, you might have a OG Anunoby-esque player here at pick 5.
Oh, that'd be so sweet.
Which would be awesome. So Taylor Hendricks is who I got going 5th.
I really would like that. I would love if Taylor Hendricks ended up a Piston, just like Cam Whitmore a little bit more.
That's completely fine. 6th overall pick, we have the Orlando Magic, one of their 2 lottery picks here at pick 6.
I've got them going to Taylor Hendricks.
Really? Okay.
Get the freaky athlete here to Magic. I don't know what this team needs. I didn't watch enough of them to say. There could be issues like Franz already being there. Paulos kind of plays the 4 or 5. Can't defend 5s. So I don't know where he fits with this team, but I like him a lot more than like Jarris Walker, Anthony Black, even Asar Thompson as you go down the list. They don't need a big, and I wasn't going to have him take a guard here. So I went with Taylor Hendricks. I don't think this is a great spot for the Magic to be. I really don't.
Yeah, they're kind of in a weird spot just because they don't really have like one specific position that they need. Luckily, they have 2 picks, so like they can kind of swing for one on one of them and take a safer guy with one of them if they want to, or they can just take 2 safe guys and immediately they just have a lot of guys that need minutes, and adding 2 lottery picks is tough because they're trying to. I mean, they took a jump this past year. I know they have the 6th pick, but like they definitely have one of, if not the best young cores in the NBA of like playoff teams right now.
I forgot to mention Wendell Carter Jr. as part of that roster.
Exactly. They have a lot of Jonathan
that
Isaac.
Team
is
is
still
good,
there.
man. That team is good.
For me, 6th pick, I have Cam Whitmore going here to Orlando. I thought about having him fall one more pick here. But I think that they could just get another wing scoring guy. The question is with Cam Whitmore is he going to be a 3 or a 4? Because he's big for not height wise. Like he's only 6'7", but he's a big dude. And he's freaky athletic. He's definitely one of the more athletic guys in this class. The defense is something that a lot of the talks is he's going to be a good NBA defender, but he wasn't the best defender at Villanova. I don't know if that was he just wasn't trying as hard type of thing as he could have been.
Like Ivy.
For his frame, he definitely should be a good defender by all means. So, he's definitely a shot creator for sure. He is an outside scorer, can bring it inside, throw it down. Would love if the Pistons got him as well. But I got him going here to Orlando. 7th pick, Indiana Pacers.
This is where I have Jarris Walker going. There's been times where he gets mocked all the way up to 4. People like him that much. He's much less of a shooter of these wing guys, but he's the defender. This guy is absolute clamp, solid rebounder. I think him and the Pacers would work pretty well. I think you can really I think Tyrese would do an awesome job. Tyrese is one of my favorite guards in the league. But I think Jarris Walker would really succeed in Indiana.
Yeah, I actually also have Jarris Walker going 7th here. Like you said, he's definitely the best all-around defender probably in this class just because at 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan. I mean, you see this guy, he's not the tallest, but he's long, and he is, like you said, he rebounds the ball really well. He can play small ball 5. He did a lot at Houston this past year, was a part of a really good team. Did not shoot the ball badly. He's a solid catch and shoot 3-point guy, kind of in that same mix with Taylor Hendricks where he doesn't have much creation ability, but he can knock down the outside shot. I picked Hendricks because I think for the Pistons, why I chose him over Walker is because I think Hendricks has probably more opportunity to play more of the 3 than the 4, which obviously he still could play the 4. Whereas Walker, I don't really know if he's going to play the 3 or not.
I don't know if he can shoot the ball well enough.
Exactly, and he just is a more of a tool to, as like I think it benefits your team to have him be the 4, you know. So that's why I took Hendricks over Walker, but I still think Walker is going to be a phenomenal NBA player for sure, just because of his defense.
Yeah, he just like if I was to describe him, it's beast. The guy is just a monster on the floor
for sure. Pick 8, the Washington Wizards. I feel like they have the 8th pick in the draft every year. I mean, like they have this 8 to 12th pick. At least the last 5 years, they've had it every year.
I don't feel bad for him.
They had Johnny Davis last year with the 10th pick.
I do too feel bad for him.
Okay, but Johnny Davis had that crazy jelly layup at the end of the year this year. Did you ever see that? He did like the Julius Erving type thing, and nobody talked about it. And that was, Johnny Davis had one of the worst rookie years of a top 10 pick maybe ever. But that layup totally, like, it's out the window. Like, that, he had a good rookie year in my eyes based on that.
If Stephen Curry did this, ESPN.
Steph Curry could not do that.
If Steph Curry does anything, it's on ESPN.
Yeah. Okay, but who you got?
I've got Anthony Black going here out of Arkansas. I don't know a whole ton about Anthony Black, in all honesty. I'll let you speak on it.
I also have Anthony Black going 8th here. This just seems right. The Washington Wizards need a guard, but will the Washington Wizards ever get a point guard? You know, like every point guard they get is like kind of a point guard, you know? Yeah. Spencer Dinwiddie. Is he really a point guard? No, they had him for half a year, sent him away. Like ever since John Wall, Russell Westbrook, obviously they had, and he was good for that year. Monte Morris was their point guard this year, but like didn't start most of the games. Beal did a good amount. Anthony Black is like kind of a point guard, so like that's why I have them taking him here. But he just kind of does everything. He played point guard at Arkansas this year, I think, without their intention to. Nick Smith Jr., potentially a guy who we have also in this lottery, was the point guard of Arkansas this year, but was injured for most of the season for Arkansas. So Anthony Black kind of got exposed into that role, and really it bolstered his draft stock by all means. At a 6'7" guard, he play makes well, he defends well, he's quick, he's an all right shooter, but like off the pick and roll, he's dangerous. He kind of just does it all. He doesn't have one thing he's great at. He does it all. And I think with that being said, he's for sure going to be a top 10 pick, lottery for sure. And I think it just makes sense here because I think he would fit well with Bradley Beal with the Wizards.
Yeah, versatility is off the chain. That's what these teams are looking for. They want guys who can do a lot of things when it comes to playoff basketball.
Yeah, and it helps when you're 6'7".
Yeah, when I need to put you in a spot, I need you to be able to do whatever I need. That's versatility right there.
Plus, Anthony Black's got some great hair. That always helps too.
Always helps.
Always helps. Some big poofy hair. All right, 9th overall pick, the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are in a weird spot here. They have a good amount of needs, but it's like they're also like kind of good still. Do they want to tank? I don't know. What do you got the Jazz doing?
I have them taking the wing of the Twins. I have them taking Asar Thompson here. He's much more of the off guard. It's clear when they were growing up. Amen was the guard, and Asar was the off guard for majority of the time. It's like clear when you watch them play. They're like you said, they're identical. They're twins. These guys play very similar styles of basketball. I think it fit in Utah. Him running and dunking next to Lowry, put an athlete next to him. I think it'd really help out.
I actually also have Asar Thompson going here to Utah. We've had a 3 in a row actually straight picks. We've only had 2 picks that haven't been the same here. You think so?
Yep.
So I originally actually had Cason Wallace going here to the Jazz, and then I realized that Asar was still on the board, and I was like, oh, they would take him if he's here.
They have to.
Now, the Jazz do have a hole at point guard with them trading away Mike Conley at the trade deadline. Don't really know what their plans is there, but I still think they go Asar Thompson here if he's on the board because he can still be that. I mean, there's a world where you transition him to a point guard. You know, why not? He definitely is more of a secondary playmaker. But like you said, we've already described it a lot with his brother. They're just freaky athletes, can finish over anybody. Pretty good off the pick and roll, coming downhill. Good defenders. Excited to see how they turn out in the NBA.
That lay package is nice out of both of them. They can lay the ball up. It's nice.
Yeah. 10th overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks.
Here's the start. It's changing. With the Dallas Mavericks, I have them getting a center, getting Derek Lively the second out of Duke.
Wow.
Finally getting the 7-footer to like roam around the inside to move instead of running like 6'10" dudes there and 6'9" guys there. Let's get a big guy next to Luka. Give me Derek Lively the second.
I like that pick a lot. I actually don't have Derek Lively in my lottery. I think that with the success of Walker Kessler this past year, and even Mark Williams when he finally got put into a a role like that. I'm not going to include Duren because I think that they're different players.
I would agree.
But with the success of those two guys, I think that you could see a guy like Lively jump up these boards strictly because of that. I mean, these aren't the most skilled centers in the world. They are elite rim protectors. And to have guys like that it showed. Like, they come in and succeed right away in the NBA. It's awesome to see, and I definitely could see them doing that with Lively. Not saying that Duren is not this elite rim protector. I think he's more than that, but he's definitely not on the level of...
He's not that big.
Yeah,
I mean, these dudes are humongous.
Mark Williams, Walker Kessler, they're 7-footers. You know,
They're
Derek
huge.
Lively is a 7-footer. Duren is a athletic freak and maybe the most jacked dude on the court, but he's 6'10", you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's still going to get every rebound over you. But
He's still better than
but he
all
might not
those
block
guys.
every single one of your shots like Kessler. And it's not even just about blocking shots. It's just contesting shots.
Deterring.
And
Yep.
Yeah, so I like that pick a lot. I think Lively could be the next one of those guys. For me, the 10th pick, this one just screams Dallas Mavericks. What do the Dallas Mavericks love to put around Luka? Shooters.
Who can't play defense.
Straight up shoot. Yes, I'm not saying this guy can't play defense, but you're right. You know, Reggie Bullock. You get to guard KD.
Tim Hardaway
Jr., Seth Curry. Like these Maxi Kleba. These
And it's
dudes.
funny that we sit there and are like, why can't the Mavericks win? It's so obvious.
Yeah, they got these 3-point shooters, though. Grady Dick, 10th overall pick to the Dallas Mavericks. It just makes perfect sense. Grady Dick is one of those guys that really didn't have like an absurd freshman year at Kansas. I mean, he was part of a really good team, and he was a sixth man. You know, he wasn't starting. He ended up starting towards the end of the year, but didn't have like an absurd season by any means. He's just a great shooter. And showed more than that, though. I think he definitely shows a lot more off the dribble shooting. Definitely can play some good defense. He's a long 6'8", and he's young. He's still 205 pounds. He can athletic, or he can be athletic.
He can athletic.
I think Grady Dick is more than a shooter, but his shooting ability is the reason why he's going this high at 10.
Yeah, I've got nothing on Grady Dick is my actual 11th pick. So the Orlando Magic are picking at 11. This is where I have Grady Dick going. I love Grady Dick. Like when I watched him, I felt like every time I turned a Kansas game on, they did. Let's go. The big moments. It always felt like it was Grady Dick making that moment happen, whether it be him attacking the hole and dishing it, or just knocking down a big shot or a big pull-up jump shot. And every time he did it, his energy and his intensity was sweet. And I think that goes a long way on a basketball court. I think he'd be awesome to have that attitude to combine with the rest of these Magic young dudes. Start giving them a little swagger. Your teammates start hitting a three, you start going crazy. I would love him in Orlando. Grady Dick's good. I think he's one of my favorite players in this class.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
The Kansas, they lost Grady Dick, and they said, how are we going to replace one Dick? We need to get another one, and they got Hunter Dickinson.
Got the big dick.
Did we ever talk that Hunter Dickinson committed to Kansas
I don't
on here?
think so.
I don't think we ever did. I don't think we ever did.
We did with the Michigan fans. I think like Tebow
That was like
here.
before. No.
No.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I
Hunter
don't
Dickinson went to Kansas, and I'm feeling different about it.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he's not in the Big
They're going
Ten.
to be a really good team.
Yep,
Sure.
he's going to be a monster. Player of the
11th
year.
pick for me, Orlando Magic. This is our second first-round pick. I have a guy who I originally put here that is later in this, so I'll talk about it when I get to him. But I have the Orlando Magic taking Cason Wallace here. Do they need a point guard?
Kinda.
I don't know. Jalen Suggs really isn't the point guard, but how good has he been, in his first 2 years in the NBA? Solid. He's been a solid player, but maybe not what you were looking for long-term. Markelle Fultz is definitely their clear best guard on the team right now, and that's by all means necessary. He's been a very good player for them. But I think that Cason Wallace can kind of be that guy that takes over for Markelle Fultz eventually. Cason Wallace is widely known as the best perimeter defender in this class, and he's a Kentucky guard. Take a look at the list of Kentucky guard first-round picks in the last so many years, and you will want to take Cason Wallace.
It's that when you say it like that, it is really ridiculous. You could go down and list 10 all-stars.
I mean, just the last. I mean, not even all-stars. It doesn't. Everyone is a good player. I mean, just the last couple years, you have Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickley, Tyler Hero, Jamal Murray, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker. I'm trying to go in order a little bit.
Yeah, you're doing good.
There's more that I've forgotten.
Fox,
too.
Monk.
Yeah, Monk. Yeah, exactly. Like they're all good players. There's none of them that just suck. Like they're gonna at least be a good NBA player.
The guard university, definitely, for sure.
Probably.
Guard you.
They also have Anthony Davis, too, and Karl Anthony Towns.
They might just be Kentucky.
They might just be university, yeah. But yeah, Cason Wallace, so he's probably the best perimeter defender in this league. I see a lot of Drew Holiday type of comparisons to him. His biggest question is he a true point guard offensively? Can he create, because he didn't play extreme amount on the ball offensively for Kentucky this past year. Could that have just been because he was at Kentucky? I don't know. But he's a big dude. He's 6'4" point guard, 200 pounds. I'm excited to see how he gets used because he's like a Davion Mitchell-esque guy, but Davion Mitchell was a much more polished offensive player coming out. So I don't really know how that's going to go, but we'll see. I got Wallace going 11th. 12th pick, the OKC Thunder, their 44th first-round pick in the last couple of years.
I don't know what they're going to do with whoever this guy is. He might just get stuck to the end of the bench and never see an NBA floor again. I've got them taking Leonard Miller. Okay. Leonard Miller out of the Overtime Elite League.
G League.
Sorry. Yep, he was on the Ignite, wasn't he? Yep. I don't know what. He's a big 6'9" wing. I don't know what more this team needs. You don't need guards. You don't need bigs. You don't need forwards. Yeah. You literally have everything you want, but you still have more picks to pick. So just pick Leonard Miller.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do because, does this mean you take a project player or does this mean you take a guy that's just going to be a good player? What route do you go? I don't have Miller in my lottery. I did consider him going 14 to New Orleans. Leonard Miller was a guy actually that I had mocked in our mock draft last year, and then he ended up taking his name out of the draft because he was out of Canada, a high school player out of Canada. Ended up going to the G League and had a really good year with G League Ignite and definitely bolstered his stock as well. But for me, I have OKC taking the route of just taking a guy that is going to be a good player, at least a solid player. Jordan Hawkins out of UConn. Yep. It was the national champion, was the face of the Final Four. Just an amazing scorer for UConn. Knocked down very highly contested shots. Can do it off the dribble. Can do it off the catch. Solid defender. He's not the biggest guy. His frame definitely needs to be improved. But he's 6'5" still. 21 years old, so the oldest guy I have so far in this draft. He's actually the only guy that's been older than 20 so far. But yeah, I think OKC just because Trey Mann is kind of lost his role in the rotation this past year. Maybe they just go get another wing to replace him.
Yep.
13th pick, the Toronto Raptors.
This is where I have my guy, my actual favorite player in the whole draft, other than whoever the Pistons take at number 5 and at number 30. It's Kobe Buffkin going to the Toronto Raptors. This guy, he's going to be a good NBA player. He can shoot the ball well. He's a great ball handler. He's a great two guard because defensively, he is a monster. He is so elite defensively. He's super athletic out of Grand Rapids. This would be awesome on the Raptors. Get some smaller guys. They don't all have to be 6'9".
Yeah.
Get some small, quick-ass dudes who can guard any guard that you want in the league. I don't know if he can do that yet, but in the future, that's what you hope Kobe Buffkin becomes. He is an elite defender.
I actually also have Kobe Buffkin going here 13th to the Raptors. I think that Kobe Buffkin's been a guy clear that has been rising these boards. When he first declared for the draft, it was like, is he going to go in the first round? Is he a first rounder? Because he was never really mocked to be there that much. But he is clearly, NBA teams have a liking in his ability. So I'm excited to see how he's used because a lot of teams say he's going to be a point guard in the NBA, which he never played point guard at Michigan. Obviously He had the ball in his hand a lot. I originally had him going 11th to Orlando, but then Cason Wallace was there, so I figured they would just take him. But yeah, I think Kobe Buffkin, just his slashing ability, he just screams Raptor to me. I don't know why.
For
sure. He was a pretty good defender at Michigan as well, but his 3-level scoring was definitely why he has been rising these boards for sure.
Yeah, so fast. Covers a lot of ground defensively. You good.
All right, 14th pick, last up, the New Orleans Pelicans.
Hey, you've taken guard after guard after guard, it feels like, other than Zion. You might as well go with another guard. Go with Nick Smith Jr. Go with the guard that we don't.
I guess they don't take a guard.
No, go with Nick Smith Jr. Get another guard. Because I don't think eventually I think CJ McCollum parts ways from his team and you kind of go to a Dyson Daniels approach. And then hopefully you've got another complimentary guard, Nick Smith. That's my logic behind that.
I'm kind of thinking the same route as well, except I don't have Nick Smith here. I also like two guys that most mocks have in Nick Smith Jr. and Keontae George, both going in the lottery. I think they're both two guys that could fall in this draft. That you kind of see this story every year with these top guard prospects. Nick Smith and Keontae George were probably, Nick Smith for sure at least was a top 5 prospect. I'm pretty sure George was as well. Underperformed their freshman year, still declare, They still have this height because of the name, but I could see both of these guys falling out of the lottery because of their struggles. Whereas I'm going to go with the guy that kind of had a really good, that's boosted up from his high school ranking. That's Jalen Hood-Schifino out of Indiana. I have another Big Ten guard here going 14th. I like Jalen Hood-Schifino. I actually liked him a lot at Indiana just because he was a really good all-around player. Well, another guy that doesn't really do anything crazy, but he's big. He's a 6'6" guard, 215 pounds. Showed really good playmaking ability, scoring ability at all three levels. Definitely isn't like the athlete that a Kobe Buffkin is, attacking the hoop or anything. But with his 6'6" frame, 215 pounds, I think that he's going to be a good player. And like you said, you add that with a 6'7" guy in Dyson Daniels in your backcourt when they already run Herb Jones at shooting guard. I mean, like, just the mixture of that could be really fun to see how the Pelicans do that. But the Pelicans have a lot of options here at 14 as well. So that is our full lottery mock draft. We're going to have another one, like we said, before the draft, but go check out everything else. Yeah, that's basically
We're out of here.
We're out.
Peace.
Bye.